And of course, I can't see. Can you see if anybody's on? I don't have the ability to do that.
I cannot, but I don't have YouTube up, so
Okay, he's gonna open it and see if it's coming.
Just typed in free to find peas.
He just typed in free to find peas.
Accidentally.
I love it. Maybe you should consider writing another book.
Free to find peas, yes.
Peace.
We have some fun pea stories in our house. The actual pea, green peas.
That's awesome.
Why can't I?
He's trying to type it in right now.
We so appreciate your help, Sean. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm happy to do it.
He even interrupted watching the Buffalo Bills, which over here is a big deal because we
Oh,
live
yeah?
we live near Buffalo, so they're
Oh,
in
my
this is their last game before the playoffs, right?
No, this is their playoff.
Oh,
game.
this is a playoff game.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Thank you for showing up for us in a big way.
All right. It looks like we're good.
We're
I
good.
just have to make sure that I'm connected. Yep. Okay.
Okay,
Good.
so do you see if anybody's on?
Yeah, there's 2 people watching.
Two people are
Oh.
watching.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome. We're gonna jump right in, and thank you. Sean, my son, he just helped us get this all together. And welcome to Free to Find Pearls YouTube channel. And I am here with my wonderful friend, Natasha Soul. And Natasha is a Reiki master, an intuitive, and also a spiritual guide. And you can find more about her. I'll put all her information in the description, but you can find her on natashasoul, SOL.com. So we are going to talk about January's new moon energies. And wow, there's a lot to talk about, right? Yes. So do you want to jump in? Do you want to give us your take or just some observations or,
First of all, I just want to say thank you again for doing a live YouTube with me, Colleen. I'm just so elated to be with you here today.
Thank you.
Colleen and I actually, just as a little bit of background, we met last January.
Mhm.
It was January?
Yes.
Is when it started through Kelly Rosano's, her classes. She has online classes. Kelly Rosano, the amazing, wonderful astrologer, was our teacher. And so we met through
Yes.
her online classes. And I just knew right away, as soon as I started engaging with Colleen, that she was a kindred spirit. And
Yes.
I've just had so much fun engaging with her. And so I encourage you to, if you are not subscribed, to subscribe to her channel, because she has just this light about her that
Thank you.
just illuminates everything around her with love and joy. And so I encourage you to subscribe to her channel.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll just pass it back to you and let you get started on the new.
Yes. Well, thank you. And the feeling is mutual. And, as we travel through life, our journeys, and, we connect and we separate and we connect and separate. And I actually had been meditating and praying for many, many months. Actually, I think it was probably a couple of years to find my kindred spirits, to connect with those people. And so lo and behold, because the universe is always trying to serve us and work for us and work with us, when we follow our intuition, when we follow that God within, that voice within, and it might seem kind of hokey, we're like, why am I going this way? Why am I doing this thing? Why am I calling this person? And then you meet a Natasha. And then you go, oh my gosh, that is at least one of the little things that the universe had in store for me. So I am thrilled that she's here, and likewise to go hop over on her channel when we are through and subscribe to her channel as well. So we're going to talk about the beginning of the year, the Capricorn new moon energies. And most of us know that the new moon is the time to set intentions. And what a perfect time to set intentions, the beginning of the year. So we can use this time to set the intentions not only for the month, like we normally would do for new moons, but also for the rest of the year. I am not a big planner. That's probably, I used to think it was a gift when I was younger. Now that I'm a little older, I think it's not a gift, but I'm trying to be more of a planner and write lists and check things off. I'm trying to teach my children that as well. So the first thing I think I'll just say is that the new moon energy is in Capricorn, and Capricorn is an earth sign. And so there could be a lot of grounding. Now, we definitely need to be grounded during this
Absolutely.
time. And, reconnecting with the earth and maybe even our roots. There might be some ancestral things that come up for us. Capricorn can stir a lot of things. Capricorn is the sea goat, so they are able to climb mountains and swim the depths of the oceans. And so this time, we are being challenged, and we can also overcome these things as well. So there is hope. There is hope. And remember that what is within is also without. So if we stay calm and we get grounded during this time and set our intentions that way, then that's what we will project out into our own personal universe and space. So I'm always for that. I don't like chaos. So I'd like to turn it over to you and just get some of your thoughts with this as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Colleen.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I am Capricorn is I kind of have a special affinity for Capricorn because my mom is Capricorn, one of my daughters is Capricorn, so I've been surrounded by Capricorns my entire life, and one of the things that as a Gemini, they taught me the grounding piece.
Mhm.
Geminis have a tendency, we're air, we're like very much in alignment with what you're talking about, Colleen, about not really wanting to plan things. And
Yeah.
so I was able to have that influence in my life, throughout my life, of that grounding effect of Capricorn. And it's really cool that it's at the beginning of the year because Capricorn, they are such planners.
Yes.
They like to plan things down to the like tiniest detail.
Yes.
So, and at the same time, because of the overall energies of Aquarius,
Mhm.
we just moved into this constellation of Aquarius, and
Yes.
Aquarius is that, it's air. It's like
Yes.
has that flow to it. So I think that what January is offering us is a nice balance between the structure and the planning. But if anything, 2020 taught us don't get attached to your plans.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about
Yes.
you guys, but I
Oh.
learned don't get attached to your plans.
Yes.
So even though we have that element of planning and being grounded in our plans of Capricorn and with this new moon, there's also this element of don't be attached
Yeah.
and allow the flow that
Yes.
Aquarius is influencing us to do and to be. And the key word that I received from my guides this year is they kept telling me, reiterating over and over again,
Yes.
do less of doing, do more of being.
Oh, yeah.
Do less of doing, do more of being. Allow
Mhm.
yourself to be, not to do. And that's not saying like, woohoo,
Yeah.
just let go of all you're doing, but embody what it is that you want to be. And then from that place of being, move into your action, move
Yes.
into the doing aspect of that, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I think that for myself, is setting that precedence for this new year
Yes.
going forward, is like more of the being, and then from that cultivating the doing from that
Yes.
place of being.
That's beautiful. I so appreciate that. I love how you said also that what January is offering us. I mean, we always think that, well, I shouldn't say everyone, but the majority of people think that, you know, everything's coming at us, that somehow we have no control over it, and everything's just, you know, hitting us, fireballs all over the place, you know, hitting us. And we forget that we are actually empowered. And I think that when we're less reactive, which is what you're saying, that your guys are telling you, you know, the doing, we get reactive. And I know I do. I'm a fire sign, so, you know, I'm all over the place. And but I love that you said offering, because that is a gentle way for us to remember that we actually have a decision. We are able to make a decision with how we create our day, with how we move forward, the words that we choose, the life that we plan ahead for ourselves. And I was reflecting on 2020 before I got on, and I was thinking how back in January of 2020, when I started the YouTube channel course with you, I was so excited. I thought all these things were going to unfold finally. You know, I felt like the world was just going to open up for me. I had my first book launch was on the vernal equinox. We had a big, huge party celebration, you know, with hundreds of people and the media and everything. Never happened. It never happened. And so I bawled and I had my moment, but then, you know, I said, well, who am I? What am I going to do? And so I'm still a creative being, and I've had a lot worse happen to me. So, you know, we made a change. We ended up doing a big live concert. My sons have a rock band. And so we took that energy and we turned it into something that was positive, regenerative, life-affirming, even within, you know, the confines of what we were given. So we kind of find ourselves in the similar energy of that, although that beautiful grounding Capricorn is with us. Capricorn is the support system. You know, Capricorn, I'm married to a Capricorn. Sagittarians hardly ever get married. And if they do, they have to marry an earth sign, because there's just, you know, if you marry a fire or an air, you're going to, well, I guess you could, but, you know, this Sagittarian had to marry somebody who's grounded. And so there's this beautiful grounding energy. And now that's not to say that there's not also some volatility going on, because we know that there is. Okay, we just had Mars, you know, doing a little crazy dance, right? And so we're still going to be feeling that. We're still going to be feeling the upheaval of that, the shock of that. And if I could encourage everyone who's listening right now and anyone who's listening later, know that there is a grounding energy available to you even in upheaval. And if you look back on your own personal lives, the times when there was upheaval in our lives, yes, we were shocked. We feel the shock of it. But we also remember, how did we get out of that? We had to get grounded in something, you know. Oh. So there is always hope, and I love the new moon. If you have any do you have any rituals that you do, Natasha? Do you have any things that you suggest or that you personally do?
I used to. However, what I learned is that I was getting a little too attached to my usually on the new moon, I would look at to see what energies were ruling that moon. In this case, Capricorn, and I would align my outlook for the month with those
Yeah.
energies and what I wanted to accomplish. And I used to journal. I used to journal it all out. But what I found about myself is that I was getting really attached to the plan.
Oh,
So
yeah.
just kind of let that go. If it works for you, I encourage you to do it because it can be really potent,
Yeah.
and it's really awesome to kind of look back and see where you've been. You can like revisit it and see where you've been. So I still do that, but I'm not as quite regimented about it.
Yeah.
So I do encourage my clients to check in with the energies of the new moon and like
Yeah.
have ideas and journal them out if it feels good to do so. Ideas of what you want to accomplish, and like have an idea of what the energy of the full moon is about too. Like look
Yes.
ahead and see where the full moon is going to be, and that will kind of help you guide in terms of what you want to accomplish during that month.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I know I'm a writer, but I'm not a journaler at all. But my boys, over the holidays, they bought me this beautiful handmade journal. And I've been writing every night before I go to bed. And I don't write sentences, I just write words that I, that I hope for, that I would like to be, that I'm feeling, that I am. And what that whole process has done for me since January 1st, so for the past 8 days, I get to that center. I get grounded right in that moment, and I devote just that time. So sometimes just something even small like that, maybe not a big plan, but just recognizing writing's really powerful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the ritual that I do is, and it's funny because I'm a writer, but I don't do a writing ritual. I go outside, and if it's not, there actually is not much snow here in upstate New York right now, but usually at this time we have 2 feet, but I can ground, so I'll actually be barefoot, and in a couple of days, and just sort of walk around my front yard. And I go outside. I love nature. That's another. And I just sort of make my intentions known. I mean, I actually say them out loud. I just, for the month, it's kind of like I feel like a little fairy out there, doing it. And and I don't possess it. I don't own it. I just say, if that's what the universe has for me, if that's what God wants, then, I'm open to it. And if there's a change, and there's something happens to me, I feel much lighter. That's the thing I notice all the time. So I always feel lighter.
I feel lighter just listening to you talk about it.
Oh, wow, that's great. That's great. Yeah. So it's just these simple things. I mean, some people actually do more of a ritual, lighting candles, having an altar, writing their intentions, burning them. I did a healing event last night, and we did our prayers. We wrote our prayers down, prayed, and then we went outside and we actually did burn them all and send them off into the ethers. So there's power in that. But I agree. If I get too ritualistic, something gets lost in that. Do you find that? Something, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I tend, for myself, I tend to get more attached to the ritual than the actual intention, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, I've over the years, I've found that, and it used to work, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It worked for a while up until it didn't.
Yep.
And I found myself getting too attached, and I was like, okay, let's find the balance. Where's the middle ground in this?
Right.
So yes, have those intentions, and that's what I really like about your approach, is that it feels very light. It's like making it known,
Yes,
but not being attached to it. However, it is very powerful. I will say this, it's very powerful to write your intentions.
Yes.
Speaking them or writing them
Yes.
is very powerful. Just be careful not to get attached like I did.
Yes, well, the same thing for me too. And the other thing too is I remember learning years ago about writing your intentions. And I remember the first time I actually tried to do it, I literally, and I don't know if this has happened to any of you, but I literally didn't even know what I wanted. I didn't even, and then I recognized that I had just been like a pinball in a pinball machine through life. And that was in my late 20s, early 30s. And I had gone to this spiritual conference, and they were talking about writing your intentions. It wasn't new moon intentions, it was just intentions. And I sat there for days. I didn't even know what I wanted, and I realized I was just bouncing off of other people and their choices and what I thought I was supposed to do. And I didn't really realize that I was empowered to make choices and decisions. As crazy as that sounds, but and then I learned later.
Not at all. It doesn't sound crazy.
It doesn't.
At all.
It doesn't sound
No.
crazy.
No. No, I found myself doing the same thing, and I know other people they've said the same thing.
Yeah. They don't even, we don't even know what we want sometimes. We're
Right.
or the voices outside have become so powerful that we don't
Totally.
even hear our voice inside, you know.
Totally.
So
And especially I'd like to add to that, especially for empaths.
yes.
We have a tendency to take on others' desires, and
Yes.
it's like putting on someone else's coat or
Yes.
someone else's cloak and being like, oh yeah, okay, I could work this. And
Yes.
it's like this idealism, like, oh, okay, taking on this energy or this idea
Yes.
that doesn't originate, and especially with empaths.
I know.
We feel so deeply for
Yes.
others and what others are feeling.
I know. We do take that on, and we sort of, my sign's mutable, so it's even a double whammy. So then I sort of twist and turn, and I can make myself fit,
Right.
and
Yes.
that's beautiful. That's a beautiful energy. I mean, I was reading your website and your story, which I encourage everybody to go to natashasoul.com, because her story, you're going to want to just sit there at that website and just keep reading. That's how I felt. And you talk a little bit about your background and then the testimonies from people who've worked with you are so beautiful, and how you have this, and I already know this. I haven't met you in person, but I already know this just through the computer. Can you believe this? And the telephone, that you have a graciousness about you that allows people to just come into your space and feel welcome in that. And that's a gift. I mean, that is such a gift. And so I count myself very blessed to know someone like that, because that's rare. That's a rare thing when you find that in the universe.
Oh, thank you, dear heart.
Yeah.
Thank you. And what I found is that's pretty common among empaths.
Yeah.
In our struggle, and I don't want to get off on a tangent away from the new moon energies,
okay.
but I feel it's important to address this, because a lot of empaths are discovering through the past year in 2020, and even now with Pluto being close into this with the Capricorn new moon, the empaths are discovering that these ideas that they may have taken on that aren't them.
Yeah.
Like you said with your own journey, who am I?
Yeah.
That a lot of empaths and people just in the collective as well, people
Yes.
they've been asking that, because all of that was removed in 2020. All of our plans, like yours and everyone's plans for 2020 was removed, and it left us with this question, like, who am I? And especially for empaths, because we do have this gift where we are able to open up our energetical space
Yes.
and allow others to come in. But we are now coming into this awareness, this knowledge that, oh, those things that I allowed to come into my space, whether it was knowingly or unknowingly, I had like taken on as myself. And so with Pluto, it's so beautiful. The Pluto energy. Pluto is sometimes feared because it
Yes.
rules the underworld. It rules those things that we don't necessarily want to look at.
Right.
Those things that we like to keep hidden in the darkness. For example, all of the energies underlying what's going on
Yes.
in the political climate right now.
Yes.
But it's actually a very beautiful energy
I know.
because it allows those things to come up so that we can clear them, so that we
Yes.
can acknowledge them and be like, you know what? That wasn't actually me as an empath.
Yeah.
That was me taking on someone else's ideals. That was me
Yes.
taking on someone else's energies. And so I can take that and set it aside, know that that is not me. And with this Capricorn new moon energy, taking in and grounding what is actually my truest essence
Yes.
of who I am and embodying that. 2020 was the great reveal.
Yes.
2021 is the year of embodiment.
Yes.
The year that we embody our true essence and allow it to come up and allow it to flourish.
Yes.
That's just my take.
Oh, it's beautiful. I could just keep listening to that. And it's encouraging too. And for those of you who are watching right now, I sense in the spirit that there are some empaths watching. So I believe that these words are going out in a fruitful way. So this is really good. And I was taking some notes about the new moon energy. I went online. You know, it's funny, we can study astrology. I had said in one of my live videos during the week, I said, I have been studying astrology on and off since I was 16 years old. And I am 57 right now. And I still don't grasp the layers, you know, of it and the power of it, really. But one of the things that I recognized and took some notes for was a new path, that we can create a new path. And it kind of dovetails into what you just said about last year being this time of, I'm a spiritual counselor, so I encourage people to, let's look at everything, you know, and say it out loud, get it up and out. Do sort of a spiritual regurgitation, if you will. And then once you do that and you lay all that out, you recognize exactly what you said. Is this for me? Is this me? That wasn't me. That actually wasn't me. I did that for a bit and I don't do that anymore. And so you can let things go and kind of shift them around and then create this new path. So that's my hope for everyone watching today, that you recognize that you have within you the means to create the new path that you desire for yourself. And if there is stuff that needs to still come up and out, that you allow that to happen for you. I mean, I think there will be great growth. I think there will be peace in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and my guides have actually been, with this new energy, they've been telling me it's teaching us to recenter and come back into center with that intuitive stream of peace within ourselves. Like, with all that's going on, this is what we're learning.
Yes.
To redirect, come back to center, realign with that peace that resides within us.
Yes.
That doesn't mean it's always easy.
No.
And that comes with every learning process, right?
Yes.
It's not always going to be easy. But in the long term, it's so empowering. It's so incredibly empowering.
Yes.
And with this new way of being in the Aquarius constellation, it's required.
Yes.
It is required of us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, now's a good time to start learning it.
That's right. And
you got Capricorn in the new moon, you got Pluto, like bringing this stuff up. Now's a great time. So
yes. And we don't need to hide from ourselves.
totally.
Because every one of us who is sensitive enough or aware enough, or whatever word to describe it, we have something to offer. And we're being trained and programmed to think that it has to be on this global big stage and all of that. And in my personal life, I have noticed that the most potent, the most powerful changes, the most powerful connections happen in the simplicity of life, in the simplicity of living, and with the simplicity of love connection between a friend or a co-worker or even a small group. And I feel like this time, I've been getting messages myself, and that is to stop looking at life as though it has to be numbers. It has to be, followers. I mean, we're here on YouTube, followers, or that it has to be this huge audience. I believe that that's actually some form of a myth that entraps us.
Totally.
So,
Absolutely.
and so if we could free ourselves of that, because the Capricorn energy doesn't care about that. The Capricorn, I mean, they're so grounded. They're so, they are the sea goat. And when you think about it,
they're so sure of themselves.
True to themselves. I mean, my husband, I look at my husband and I'm like, and he's a little older than me, and he marched in the civil rights protests, and, all these really amazing things and intense kind of things that he did, and he was just so grounded, and he's still like that. He's still so grounded even in chaos. It's an interesting dynamic, but I think I lost my train of thought. But I guess the point here is that to stay in your lane. We all have a really important lane, and define that. I started working out a program actually in my counseling practice, and my sons get they get the first pieces of it. Like, what do you think of this? What do you think if I do this? And so defining who we are as the beginning of the next phase of our life, for 2021. Who am I? Who am I? Who do I want to be on this plane? I feel like we can create literally any life that we need, any life that we want, once we define who we are. Who am I? Who am I in this life? And get some clarity in that. Oh, am I still with you guys? Yep.
We had a little glitch, but I think we pulled through it.
Yeah, it just said my connection was unstable, so okay.
Anyway, I missed what you were saying. Can you repeat?
I think I can. That to define who we are, and that we have this year, this new time, this new phase on this planet, in the Aquarian age, to figure out who we are, and that we can actually design the life that we have we've known it in our hearts, we've known it in our souls. This is what I've come here to do.
Totally.
If you don't have the answers to that, then do some research on yourself.
Absolutely.
And I always tell my clients, if they don't know who they are right now as adults, go back to who you were as a child.
Absolutely. I just got truth bumps.
Woo! So did I. So did I. And you can find, and it's funny because my husband actually helped me with this without realizing that he helped me. And I was going through a really traumatic time, maybe about 10 years ago. And I said, what am I supposed to do? And he said, what do you want to do? Like, don't think about the answer, just what do you want to do? And my answer was, I want to twirl. And I went right back to when I was a little girl. My mother used to say, you're going to get sick. I would literally just twirl around like on the front lawn. I would just spin around and around, like just with my feet, And so as time went on, as I listened to that and paid attention to that, I'm a dancer. And so I signed up 4 years ago, I signed up for dance classes. And while I'm dancing, I get so much downloaded, beautiful spiritual information. So you don't have to be a dancer to have that. And so look back at your childhood,
Totally.
and see who that is. And if you read Natasha's website, you will read about a little bit about her childhood and her experiences and powerful stuff.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I too went back to my childhood when I was rediscovering myself or redefining myself. And what I did in my childhood is I spent a lot of time in nature. I lived in rural Texas.
Oh.
We lived in a small town, and we were surrounded by farmland. And I spent hours upon hours just out in nature, exploring the land. And that's how I learned how to communicate with the deceased and with angelic forms.
Yes.
It wasn't until later that ascended masters started to engage with me, but that's how I learned to commune with these beings. And even now, when I go out, like hiking and trail running are my absolute favorite extracurricular activities, and I'll go out and I get the same with you, Colleen. I get downloads. Mm-hmm. I get like downloads of like spiritual information because I'm just so high on the vibrational scale when I'm out doing that, as I did as a child. So I encourage you as well, our listeners, our viewers, to like tap back into what brought you joy and upliftment when you were a child, and as you allow yourself to tap into that and bring it back into your being.
Yes.
Again, going back to that being part and the embodiment of who we are. As you allow yourself to embody that, then it will come out as, okay, I can do this. It'll come out as inspired action.
Yes.
This is what I'm going to do now. And so allow that to be your guiding light.
Yes.
Going back to the childhood and what brought you that joy and that recentering of peace.
Yes, because it's like, as children, I feel like we're so close to the truth that, we've just crossed into this plane, and we have awareness and information and knowledge that we can't quite communicate. So we are sensing. We're really sensing and perceptive beings at that stage. The world then gets on us, traumas and so forth get on us. But even in situations where children have been abused, there is still something about themselves. I can't say in every case, but I would say in the majority of cases that they will remember their joy. And that's actually something that I talk about too, that Natasha didn't even know this, but that you go back and you find your joy, not your pain. Absolutely. Not the pain. We're so good at pain. We get pain, we carry pain, we shovel pain, we got pain figured out. But joy, the joy of who we are, let's get back to that. And so what a wonderful time to acknowledge that, to maybe meditate on that, to give yourself some time to be that, remember that memory, and remember who that person is, because it is still you. It is still you. The world gets on us, but it is still who we are, and there's great power in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I would just like to add to that, Colleen, to our viewers, like, don't listen to the inner critic.
Oh.
And I commend you, Colleen, for that moment that your husband was like, what do you want to do? And you're like, I want to twirl. And so you like went outside and you're like twirling around. It's like, don't listen to your inner critic that says, that's silly, that's childish,
That's right.
don't do that. No. Allow yourself, like, acknowledge the critic, be like, okay, I hear you, I love you.
Yeah.
Now they're there.
Yes.
I'm going to go outside and I'm going to twirl, or I'm going to go outside and I'm going to climb a tree.
Yes.
Whatever it is that you remember in your childhood bringing you joy, allow yourself to experience that, because it is powerful. After you move through that hiccup of fear or embarrassment, or, oh, what if someone sees me, or, oh, I'm going to look silly, get over that. And allow yourself to tap into that power. And once you do that a few times, you're going to be like, it will empower you in the embodiment of it.
Yes.
So just wanted to throw that out there as a word of encouragement.
Yes, and if anybody ever needs, because I always feel moved to encourage people to connect, and if anyone feels like they're not sure, or they're, they think their idea is crazy or whatever, FreeToFindPearls@gmail.com. Send me a note, and I will encourage you, because I am an example of that. I lived a very trapped kind of existence, and I am becoming freer and freer every day, and I'm paying attention to that voice within. I also am clairaudient as well, like Natasha, and I also am clairvoyant, and I see beings and so forth. But all of us have, if we don't have those extra things within us, we all have our own intuitive guide within us. So, check in with that. And it's kind of funny, because I think the crazier it is, the freer you become. I do energy work while I walk. My neighbors probably think I'm nuts, but I do. I listen to music and I dance around while I'm on my walk, and I know that looks I look like a lunatic, but I can assure you I am not. but looks are deceiving, as we know. Yes.
Well, I have to tell you, Colleen, the last time we had a video call like this, a YouTube Live, you talked about this, and you actually inspired me. You inspired me, because a lot of times when I'm on my walks in nature, I'll have light language come out, and I do hand signs when I'm channeling light language. And
oh, wow.
I was allowing the fear of what other people may think to hinder me from fully expressing that. And so you inspired me with your story of your walks and allowing yourself the freedom of that dance, of channeling the dance from within and the joy of that dance.
Beautiful.
And so now I'm just like, I'm out there doing light language, sometimes I'm speaking it, and I'm just like, if they make fun, or if they don't get it, that's okay. But you know what? What's really cool is that when you allow yourself that freedom of that expression, you actually inspire others. That is like the point I'm making here. You inspire others.
Yes.
You give them, in giving yourself permission, you give them permission too.
Yes.
Which is incredible, and it's beautiful, and it's powerful.
Yes, it is so powerful, and that is so beautiful, and it's really interesting, because how the universe is always confirming things. I have actually seen some videos online that just have popped up in feeds and so forth of people doing energy work while they're outside walking. And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, it doesn't look exactly like what I do, but I'm just like, where is this coming from? And we have a couple of gentlemen who do Tai Chi over in a wooded, open wooded kind of area. And and I think, gosh, if they're out there, doing their Tai Chi, they're doing energy work as well. I mean, we might not call it that, but yeah, it's beautiful. We are here to inspire one another.
Totally.
And most of the time it's unintentional. It's usually when we're in our purest state and we're just being who we are, that we feel that connection to, bless you, that we feel that
Thank you.
connection to inspiration. We feel connected to inspiration when we see other people being authentically themselves.
Absolutely.
And it's really beautiful. I think we've talked about just about everything today. But I guess in closing, I think we've been on for about 45 minutes. And in closing, I think I'll just say something, and if Natasha, if you'd like to. Something I wrote down, and I said, I wrote that, let's see, I am on the right page, that we can be a force for change just by being who we are, and by listening to the voice within us and following it, not just listening to it, not just, yes, I've heard it, but actually following its direction. And I've found that the smallest steps lead us to the greatest places.
Absolutely. I love that. The smallest steps lead us to the greatest places.
Yes.
It's so true. And I think that this new moon in Capricorn is one of those small steps for sure.
Yes.
I sense that. I sense that it is that small step to greater adventures, to a greater unfolding of what we've all desired.
Yes.
For collectively.
Yes.
So I encourage everyone listening, whether right now in this moment or later on,
Yes.
I encourage you to take those little steps for yourself and embodying the truth of what you feel, of who you are, and
Yes.
allowing yourself to allow that expression to come through, because as you do so, you inspire others. As Colleen has said, you inspire others to do the same. And that is the energy that we are in right now.
Yes.
In Aquarius, this is what life on planet Earth is all about.
Yes.
So allow yourself to be that.
Yes. We're here to live. We're here to thrive.
Totally.
So thank you so much, Natasha.
Thank you so much.
Gosh,
And
I can't believe it's over.
I know, it went by so fast. Thank you all for listening and liking and
Yes.
sharing and watching. I am sending out so much love to our viewers and to you, Colleen. Thank you so much for having me as your guest. You're just a light in my life and in the world, and please keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Yes, and thank everybody for being here. We appreciate it. We couldn't see anybody's comments. I was trying to pull it up on my phone, so our apologies for that. We're just working out the kinks in this new world here. So blessings to all. I love you. I love you, Natasha. Thank you so much.
Love
Bye.
you.
Everyone have a great day.